the most outstanding contribution out of my research on Mahabharat is the identification of Saguni as a Jew. The factors that led me to the conclusion are the following. 1. The palace built by Saguni to kill the Pandavas wasn't lac palace. It was made of amber. It was an amber palace. 2. Lac was extracted in India about 3000 years ago only. Hence, it wasn't there when Mahabharat happened. 3. There are evidences to prove that Mahabharat happened 5000 years ago. 4. There is evidence to prove that Tamils did amber trade with the Slovaks 5000 years ago. 5. Jews were always middlemen in trade and they did trading in amber, gold, diamond, iron and Indian spices, etc. Hence, Jews came to ancient Tamil land for trade. 6. Saguni was a trouble creator and he is responsible for Mahabharat war, and Jews are responsible for wars all over the world. Hence, Saguni shall be a Jew. 7. Saguni used gambling as a tool to trigger Mahabharat war, and Jews are known gamblers. 8. Saguni always wore black and Jews wear black always. Jews secretly worship Kali. Kali is the goddess of war and destruction. 9. Jews use women as a tool to achieve business and political gains. Saguni brought and married a Khazarian Jewish white woman to Dhritarashtra to achieve business gains, especially the iron trade of the Kauravas of Cheranadu 5000 years ago. These were the factors that led me to reason that Saguni was a Jew. In this video, I am providing further proof that Saguni was indeed a Jew. One of the new evidences that I am providing is through the ancient Tamil words which originated out of Jews. There are 3 words which are related to Mahabharat. They are 1. Sud, 2. Yuddham, 3. Yukti. 1. Sudu means unfair act. Sudatam means gambling. The root cause of Mahabharat war was gambling. Saguni invited Pandyas for gambling. Saguni was known to be a Jew to the people concerned. Jew was called in Tamil as Yuda. Yudu, Sudu, Sudu. We know that Saguni conducted unfair dice game and defeated Pandyas by cheating. This unfair act is called Sudu, and when the same is played with betting, it is called Sudatam. Hence, betting, an alien method, was brought to Tamil land through Saguni the Jew. 2. After defeating Pandavas in Sudatam, Saguni made them to wander the forest for 12 years. Even after 12 years of wandering the forest and 1 year Anyadavasam, Saguni was unwilling to concede to the agreed terms. That resulted in war, the Mahabharat war. Hence, the war was due to Saguni, the Jew, called Yuda in Tamil. Yuda, Yudam, Yuddham. The Tamil word Yuddham resulted from Yuda, the ancient form of the word Judah, referring to the Jews. The Jews are alleged to be the warmongers, and all the world wars are due to the Jews, and the Middle East unrest is due to the Jews. It is extremely surprising that even Mahabharat war, which happened 5000 years ago, originated out of Saguni the Jew. 3. The Jews are known for their cunning deeds. All the deeds of secret societies are indeed cunning deeds. Yuda, Yukta, Yukti. Yukti means cunning strategy. This word came into being due to Saguni the Jew. Thus, Sudu meaning unfair act, Yuddham meaning war, and Yukti meaning cunning strategy were the words evolved 5000 years ago during Mahabharat war due to Saguni, who was a Jew. These 3 Tamil words prove that Saguni was indeed a Jew, and it was well known to the people at that time. Kindly remember that the word Yuddham meaning war originated out of Jews. It is well known that Jews make up all the secret societies of the world, the instigators of the wars. The secret society herds the global population with their secret agenda. Hence, the secret society was also called Mason, the expert herder. That's how the first secret society was called Mason. This is called as Freemasons as of now. The Freemasons of today forgot this history and hence are having compass as their logo, thinking that masonry was associated with the construction. Alas, they are unaware that even construction masonry evolved out of goat herding mason, and mason means a general supervisor or taskmaster. All the secret societies who are affiliates of Freemasons are responsible for all wars of the world. All these secret societies are run by Jews. Krishna should have declared Kali Yugam after the Jews as they brought destruction. Obviously, Krishna knew that Jews are related to Kali. Krishna knew very well that Mahabharat war happened due to Saguni, who was a Jew. Krishna also knew very well that Jews were traders and create problems in the societies wherever they go. We all know very well that Krishna moved to seaport called Dwarka after the war. That Dwarka was nothing but Kollam port. According to my surmise, he moved to Dwarka with a specific task of restricting Jewish movement into Tamil land. I surmise Krishna should have slapped a huge entry tax on Jews to discourage them from coming to Tamil land for trade. Krishna did this to preserve peace in Tamil land. But Krishna was skeptical of the status quo after his demise. Hence, as Jews are very cunning, Krishna suspected that Jews would gain entry to Tamil land after his demise and cause troubles here. Hence, he stated that after his death, Kali Yugam would be born. The ancient Jews remembered and emotionally worshipped Kali by wearing black dress. That's how the favorite color of Jews became black. They knew that Kali was the goddess of war and destruction. That might explain the reason why the Jews instigate wars and destruction all over the world. They might be offering human sacrifice through wars to please their goddess Kali. We shall now understand the dynamics of Mahabharat war. The Jews are having the false notion that they are the chosen people of the god. But Pandyas were very prosperous agriculturists and were very advanced in technology and culture. This irritated Jews who were under the illusion that they are the chosen people. Thus, they had a reason to destroy Pandyas. Hence, Saguni, the Jew, used the friction between Pandyas and Kauravas to instigate the war, the Mahabharat war. By creating the war, Jews were also offering human sacrifice to their goddess Kali. Thus, we now understand the connection between Kali and Jews. Krishna also understood the connection. Obviously, he called the Yugam, which would be characterized by the Jewish hegemony, as Kali Yugam. The single point description of Kali Yugam is, there wasn't justice in Kali Yugam. Yes, there has never been real justice all over the world, including India. Why? All over the world, including India, judiciary is manned by the Jews. When judiciary is manned by people who think that they are the chosen people, how can there ever be justice? The Jews being traders, they lived in every important nation as a small minority. But they developed a strong bond to the ruling class of every nation, most often terrorizing the monarchies with their cunning deeds. The same phenomena happened in India 1,000 years before that. Saguni, the Jew, brought the white Jewish woman and got her married to Dhritarashtra of Mahabharat. Through that marital relationship, he won the iron trade of the Kauravas. He also led the Kauravas to Mahabharat war in an effort to destroy the Pandyas. Thus, in every nation, Jews controlled the governance. When they controlled the governance of nations, they also controlled the judiciary, which is a key part of the governance. Hence, they had been controlling the judiciary of the world for the past 5,000 years. Hence, for the past 5,000 years, the world events were controlled by the Jewish community, and that's how the Yuga was called after Kali, the goddess of Jews.
Dwarka, the submerged city. After 17 battles with Jarasandha to protect his people, Lord Krishna moved from Mathura to a place on the coast of Saurashtra to establish his capital there. To grant him his wish, Samudradev, the lord of the sea, receded to give him 12 yojanas, or 773 square kilometers of land. Vishwakarma, the architect god in Hinduism, built him a new city. Planned and beautiful, this new capital flourished with wealth and was called Dwarka or Dwaravati. Dwar meaning door and Ka meaning Brahma. The name thus referring to a place that's a doorway towards the union with Brahma, or in other words, a place for spiritual liberation. Legend has it that after the death of Krishna and the end of the Yadav dynasty, the city was swallowed by the sea. Explorations done between 1983 and 1990 have revealed submerged ruins of a great city of present-day Gujarat. Built across 6 sectors, this submerged city's boundary walls rest on boulders, proving that the land was reclaimed from the sea. The general layout of the city matches with what's written in Mahabharat. Scientific marine archaeological investigations conducted by the Marine Archaeology Unit of the National Institute of Oceanography and the Government of Gujarat draw the final inference that there was really a city that got submerged in Dwarka in 1500 BCE. The architectural evidence and antiquities such as a seal and inscriptions go to indicate that it was a city of Mahabharat age, the home of knowledge, wisdom and unbelievable architecture for thousands of years. This is
Dwarka Mudra 2. The three-headed mudra was a mark of identity for the legal residents of Dwarka. This differentiated the citizens of Dwarka who had migrated along with Krishna from the infiltrators who kept coming from the ranks of their enemy Jarasandha. Among the objects recovered during the marine excavations from Dwarka was a distinctive, unique seal of a three-headed animal measuring 18 millimeters by 20 millimeters with the images of a bull, a unicorn and a goat engraved on it. This find establishes the submerged Dwarka's connection with the Dwarka of the Mahabharata. It confirms that the three-headed animal seal, as mentioned in the text, was not a product of imagination of the author but an account of a fact. Dr. S.R. Rao, when he saw the seal, remarked, "The seal does corroborate the reference made in the ancient text, the Harivamsa, that every citizen of Dwarka should carry a mudra as a mark of identification, and none without a seal should enter it. The seal from Dwarka is similar to other Indus Valley seals in art, shape, dimension, method of making, etc., putting it in the same period of around 3000 BCE like the Indus Valley seals. This fact helps us to also date the period of Dwarka through the motif of this seal to be around 3000 BCE. Here, the ancient text corroborates with the present-day archaeological findings, as this seal has not been found in any other part of India but in the region of Dwarka, where the text says it was indeed distributed among the citizens. This excavation of the mudra finding not only corroborates the authenticity of the ancient text, but also the authenticity of its contents. The home of knowledge, wisdom and fine craftsmanship for thousands of years, this is amazing India.
India is the birthplace of language, mathematics, religion, and it is the cradle of the human race. All roads lead to India. Sanskrit is the mother of all the world's living languages. Even Western scientists declare that Sanskrit is the most pure of all the world's languages. Sanskrit is the sacred language of ancient pre-Brahmin Sanatan Dharma, and it is also the source of European languages and even English. Contrary to what Western scholars and archaeologists claim, India is the cradle of mankind, and it was from India that the geography of the world was first explored and settled by. The Mayans, the Aztecs, the Egyptians, the Phoenicians, and Aboriginals, colloquially called Indians, all have their origins in India. The ancient world was once ruled from India, and that is a provable fact. An in-depth presentation of this study can be found in 55 chapters of the following blog. This will be a mere breakdown of the most important keys that unlock the true origins of both Judaism and Christianity, and clears the fog as to the real origins of world history being withheld by the rootless international clique who are shaping our perception through deceptions. Flavius Josephus states in Book 1, 22 that, quote, "These Jews are derived from the Indian philosophers. They are named by the Indians Kalani. They are given the name Kalani because they are the children and devotees of the goddess of death and destruction called Kali. They engage in constant blood sacrifices of their enemies and victims for the purpose of gaining favor from their goddess. Kali is the wife of the destroyer god Shiva. Temples to Kali can be found in Mexico, South America, and place names in the United States such as California. The Mesoamerican southwest of the United States is riddled with location names honoring the goddess Kali. Temples such as Teocalli in Mexico and cities such as Calica are named after the goddess Kali. The Jews use the name of Kali for Israel in Hebrew, such as Kal Israel, which means all Israel. The name of Kali can be found in Islam, such as in the word Kali, fate. Maya is a goddess consort of Shiva. The Mayans are named after this goddess, and like all their other Shivistic counterparts, engaged in human blood sacrifices. Kundalini is a well-known Hindu name, and Kundalini is also a South American agricultural goddess of the Aztecs. Aboriginals in North and South America are referred to as Indians, the identification with India being obvious. In Egypt, the Sphinx at Giza is the effigy of Simha, the man-lion incarnation of Vishnu in Hinduism. Shiva was worshipped in Egypt as the god Seb, or Geb. The name Seb is a shortened form of the name Seba, Saba, and Sheba, which are all names for Shiva. The stelae pillars and pyramids which mark the Giza plateau are called Matseba in Hebrew. The cognate for the name Shiva is found in the word Matseba. The Old Testament scriptures is filled with Sanskrit names and titles for divinity. The earliest patriarchs of the Old Testament named people and places after their ancestral Indian roots. The goddess Asura in Hinduism becomes the consort of Yahweh in the Old Testament as Asherah. The Israelites did this to the great displeasure of the prophets of God, thereby proving again the Shivistic origins of the Jews. Brahma is a Hindu god whose name is found all over the Old Testament. Hebrew names such as Bela, Uma, Asher, Isa, Hosea, Hara, Baal, Adonai, El Shaddai, Jehovah, Nisan, Sabbath, Moses, Selah, etc. are all Sanskrit names relating to Indian origins. In Judaism, a religious school is called a yeshiva, which is an academy or school to learn Judaism. The Hindu god Shiva is quite clearly obvious in the name. The Jewish ritual for the deceased is called a Shiva, which is a 7-day mourning for the deceased that is referred to as sitting Shiva. The word in Hebrew for the number 7 is the Sanskrit Hindu god name for Shiva. In the ancient world of the East, Shiva was known as the Lord of Seven, or rather sevening oneself. In the Bible, the Sabbath is named after Shiva, which again is the Hebrew word for 7. Shiva is also known as the destroyer in Hinduism. In the Old Testament, God as destroyer passes over Egypt during the Exodus. In both testaments of the Bible, God has 7 spirits which relate to the 7 chakras in the Shivite yogic system, as Shiva is the Lord of Yoga. For this reason do the Jews and Freemasons dabble in the Kabbalah and engage in mystic exercises. The name of Canaan or Kenna is Sanskrit and comes from India. Chainan or Canaan or Kanna are Tamil names for Krishna. The promised land of the Hebrews used to belong to the Canaanites, who were pre-Brahmin Shivites from India, who conquered and ruled the world long before there ever were any Mesopotamian empires. Canaan or Chanan as a promised land is designated by 2 important items in Hinduism: milk and honey. In approximately 1900 BC, a flood submerged a large portion of India as described by the explorer Strabo. Strabo noted that entire villages, towns, and cities were abandoned just prior to the flood. This flood changed geographical features in India, such as the disappearance of a major river in the Harappan area called the Saraswati. Those who fled migrated west into the Levant and eventually would reach the land of the Shivites called Kenna or Chainan. Brethren precursors had already immigrated there and established the Brahminite Empire of Phoenicia on the west of Kenna. The Phoenicians were Indians from India. The Saraswati River was deified after this flood as a goddess who became the consort of the god Brahma. The figures of Brahma and Saraswati are found in the Old Testament as Abraham and Sarah, who were named as such by their Brahmin parents who had all fallen into idolatry. In Hindu mythology, Brahma and Saraswati are both brother and sister and also husband and wife. It is fitting that Abraham and Sarah should be named after Brahma and Saraswati, only to later also become husband and wife as well. Abram, a Brahmin, came from the kingdom of Oud, or rather the Hodus in India. The etymology for the word Exodus in the Old Testament is ex-Hodus. Hodus in ancient Hebrew is Hindustan. The original Jews named themselves after Hindustan, or rather India. The words Hodus has the roots Hud and Hod, which are in the names Judea and Judah. During the ex-Hodus of the Indians from the kingdom of Oud in northern India, God commands a consecration upon the arms and foreheads of the migrants. The marking upon the forehead is a bindi. The word frontlets in Hebrew means to bind, which is the same meaning for the bindi in Hinduism. The Hindu bindi later becomes the tefillin worn by Pharisee rabbis and priests in Judaism. Almost everything in the Bible comes from the East, and that is because India lies east of Chainan, or rather Canaan. In Sanskrit, a hermitage is called a Vatika. In Rome, there is the Vatican. The word scarlet in Hebrew comes from the Sanskrit name Shani. Shani is the Indian god equivalent of the Roman god Saturn and the Greek god Kronos. The Hebrew word for sea is Yam, and Yam is the Hindu god of Hades, represented by the Roman god Pluto. Other words and terms relating to Catholicism in Sanskrit are easily identifiable when cross-compared in Latin and English. The Gospel of John was written in the 1st century AD. However, the first verse in that Gospel was written 3,000 years prior, as it is a verbatim quote directly from the Rig Vedas. As an extension of Judaism, Islam is also rooted in Vedic tradition. In fact, all ancient churches, mosques, and mausoleums such as St. Paul's in London, St. Peter's in Rome, the Dome of the Rock, Al-Aqsa in Jerusalem, the Kaaba in Mecca, etc., are all Indian in form, as their Vedic architecture clearly shows. Allah in Islam is the Lord of the 7 worlds or heavens, and that epithet is distinctly used for the Hindu god Shiva. The Kaaba in Mecca encloses a Shiva lingam that is kissed by those who visit Mecca on their Hajj pilgrimage. The black stone that supposedly fell from heaven is broken into 7 pieces, thereby identifying the Hindu god Shiva, who is Lord of 7. The city of Rome in Italy is in fact named after Rama, who is a Hindu deity. Catholicism is the fulfillment of true Brahmanistic Vedicism in every way. That is why it is so contrary to Judaism, which is purely Shivistic. The Roman Caesar, the German Kaiser, and the Russian Tsar are all variations of the Sanskrit term Esvar, meaning the Great Lord. The British coronation chair has gold lions adorning its 4 legs in keeping with the Vedic Simhasen, i.e. the lion seat tradition. In the shelf underneath the royal seat of that chair is a sacred orange-colored stone called the Stone of Stone. The tunic of Great Britain's royal bodyguard is also of the Vedic bright orange hue. Statues of dead royalty and other elites in Westminster Abbey, London, may be seen by the scores with their palms joined in homage at death in the Vedic tradition. In the museum in Corinth, Greece, is a large temple mosaic of Krishna hung for display, depicting him playing a flute while standing under a tree with his feet crossed and cows grazing nearby. The Bible states that Ishmael, son of Hagar, and his descendants lived in India. India is called Havilah in the Bible. It must be noted that the names of Isaac and Ishmael are derivatives from Sanskrit. The Hebrew Ishak equals the Sanskrit Ishaku, which in Sanskrit means friend of Shiva. Similarly, the Hebrew Ishmael equals the Sanskrit Ishmahal, which in Sanskrit means the great Shiva. Bible students will know that Abraham came from Ur of the Chaldees. Western historicism has perverted the truth of the actual origins, places, and names when it comes to theist texts like the Bible. Bactria, a region of ancient Afghanistan, was the locality of the prototypical Jewish nation called Jahuda or Yaguda, also called Yaguda. Meant place or town. Chaldean, or more correctly called Diva, or Holy Calls, was not the name of a specific ethnicity, but rather the title of an ancient Brahminic priestly caste who lived in what is today Afghanistan, Pakistan, and the Indian state of Kashmir. The city of land of the patriarchs, was near the border of Persia, which is the road to India, and was the location where Abraham had been born. Abraham made his home amongst the Sabaeans in Haran. Hera is a word that denotes Shiva the destroyer. The word Hera refers to destruction in all its Hebrew applications, as it is an epithet of Shiva. Hari, a cognate of Hera, is Hebrew and means to conceive or be pregnant. It is the epithet to those in Hinduism used to denote Krishna, hence the expression Hare Krishna. It is also the same word used in Japanese for a specific ritual act of suicide. The gods of the Jews are in fact Shiva and his wife Kali. Even the Israeli flag of the modern nation-state is blue after Shiva. The word Krishna in Sanskrit is Kristna, which means anointed one. Thus, the meaning of the Latin Christo and the Sanskrit Krishna is the same. The word niti in Sanskrit means a guide or law to follow. Krishna plus niti equals Christianity, which means to follow the guide or law of the Anointed One. The Greek name for Jesus, Jesus and Yesu, is still used throughout India for the name Jesus. In Phoenician, it is Yehud. The Oud cognate refers to the kingdom that Abraham was born in, which is the kingdom of Oud in northern India, or rather Hindustan. The early church fathers knew that the Christian faith was not a new idea, but rather the fulfillment of an ancient Eastern promise from the past, and they readily admitted it. Prior to 312 AD, the papacy in Rome used to be a Vedic priesthood. The Vatican today sits on the ancient ruins of Vedic edifices. The Vedic priest of the Vatica, or hermitage, in Rome was murdered by Constantine after 312 AD. The shivellings the Vedic pontiff wore before being slain by Constantine are on display in the Etruscan Museum in the Vatican. The name Constantine is in fact a Vedic name for the demon king Constantine, who tried to kill Krishna. Primal Vedicism is found all over the world, with nowhere being untouched. The term Soviet is the Sanskrit word Svet. The term Bolshevik is the Sanskrit word Bal-Sevik, signifying Rassis who are sages. Communist is a Sanskrit term which is Samuha Nishta. Townships ending with the cognate grad, such as Leningrad and Stalingrad, come from the Sanskrit gram, which means township. 2,000 miles east of Moscow, in Siberia, is the city of Krasnoyarsk, which is named after Krishna. The Caspian Sea is named after the progenitor of the Vedic Rashis. Russians use the word agon for a fire, and this is named after the Sanskrit Agni. The Russian name Andropov comes from the Sanskrit Indra, who is the Indian king of gods. The Stonehenge is one of the most important archaeological sites of pre-Christian England. The Druids of Europe were Brahmani, or rather Vedic priests. Stonehenge is the Sanskrit Stavankun, which means meditational bower. Canterbury in England is Sankarpuri, which means township of Shiva. There was no Aryan invasion of India. The true meaning of Aryan comes from the Sanskrit Arya, which means the noble way of life. Thus, Aryans are all those who submit to Dharma as outlined by the Vedas. Canada in North America, a member of the British Commonwealth, is named after Chainan and means Krishna land, or land of the Anointed One. It is also the name of a Dravidian language called Kannada. In Japan, its ancient culture is known as Shinto. Shinto is the malpronunciation of the Sanskrit Sindhu of the Indus region in India. And Nipponese, a word for Japanese, is from the Sanskrit Nipun, which means skillful. Australia is Vedic and comes from the Sanskrit word Astralaya, which means land of missiles, due to the pervasive yearly meteor showers that illuminate Australia's night skies. And the Leonids emitting from the constellation Leo refers also to Sima in Vedic astrology, who is the Lion Man emanation of the Anointed One. The word Hebrew is made up of two syllables, he and brew. The syllable he is from Hari, and brew, which is Sanskrit for speech. Thus, Hebrew means speech of the Anointed One. Jerusalem is Yedu Ishra Layum, which in Sanskrit means temple or township of the Anointed One. Zionism is the Sanskrit word Devanism, which means the cult of God or the divine group. Jews claim they are the chosen people, as this is the tradition of the Yadu clan, who are called Yadavas. Of course, this is based on a false identity because they say they are Yadavas but are not. The true Yadu clan or Yadavas come from southern India, while the Oud or Hodus are of northern India, just as Judah is the southern kingdom in Israel, and the Ouds or Hodus are of the northern kingdom of Israelayim, or rather Israel. Jerusalem is also the home of the Dome of the Rock. It is an octagonal temple similar to Vedic designs in the ancient East. Melchizedek was the eternal king-priest of Jerusalem who possessed special powers and abilities. He was also Abraham's teacher and superior. Melek Sadaksina was a great Indian prince endowed with mystical powers, the son of a Kassite king. In Kashmirian Sanskrit, a Sadok is someone who embodies supernatural power. A certain Zadok was also a supernaturally endowed priest who anointed King Solomon. The name Jah or Yah is Sanskrit. It is a name of both Shiva and Krishna among ancient Indians. The word Jah or Yah, meaning God in Hebrew, is a word that is found within many names in the Old Testament. In Sanskrit, it refers to Sthena, which is a general attribute of God, meaning everlasting or continued existence. Jah or Yah also refers to Sima, the man-lion incarnation of Krishna. Simchat Torah, which is a Jewish holiday, is named after Sima, the lion man incarnation of Krishna, and is the source of the expression, the Lion of Judah. The so-called Star of David and Solomon's seal, which represents the union of spirit and matter, is the configuration of the Indian god Indra's thunderbolt. The pool in Jerusalem, called Bethesda, is Bet Sada in Sanskrit and means house of Shiva. The town called Bethlehem is Beth Lechem in Sanskrit and means house of Lakshmi, or rather house of bread. The Indian goddess of fortune, Lakshmi, is relatable in the Old Testament in reference to feasting and food, but especially to bread. Shavuot of the Jews is named after Shiva. Tongues of fire is related to the god Shiva in Hinduism. Bathsheba, wife of King David in the Old Testament, means a daughter of Shiva in Sanskrit. Beersheba, the well Isaac's servants named in the Old Testament, means well of Shiva in Sanskrit, or rather, well of seven. The name Illuminati is claimed to be of a Latin origin. However, Latin too is a daughter language of Sanskrit. The spiritual Illuminati have been around for thousands of years, long before Adam Weishaupt's manifested order. The word Illuminati is Sanskrit and breaks up into two words, Ilu meaning gods and Minati meaning prayer and the number 3. The meaning of Illuminati is Prabodha, which means awakening. The cognate Ilu is found in Sumerian and in Hebrew as Elohim. This is the caste system that has been practiced in India for thousands of years. And this is the modern-day world caste system that everyone is to come under. Both are the exact same in structure, and it is the false Brahmanite Ouds or Hodus, i.e. Jews from India, who changed the image of the sacred cow in Hinduism into the image of the golden calf of the false Brahmanite Illuminati. These impostors retook Canaan or Chanaan, once called Phoenicia, but today called Israel in 1948. These impostors want to sit at the top of the world caste system that they are trying to create. They want to become the all-seeing eye of Shiva the Destroyer. These Ouds have been in a constant struggle against all things Arya since long before the days of the Mahabharat war over 5,000 years ago in India. All world history, religions, languages, names, and countries of antiquity are connected through a common Vedic history in ancient India, from where all civilization after the Great Flood sprang forth.
Dwarka Mudra. What many don't know is that today the city of Patna in the state of Bihar in India was an important city during the times of Mahabharat. It was ruled by Jarasandh, the father-in-law of Krishna's uncle, the tyrannical Kans. After Krishna killed Kans in the battle of Mathura, Jarasandh wanted revenge. He kept attacking Mathura. However, the army of Mathura under the leadership of Krishna and Agrawal defeated him each time. After 17 battles with Jarasandh, to protect his people, Krishna moved from Mathura to a place on the coast of Saurashtra to establish his capital there. He, Balram, and the clan of Yadavs moved down south and settled in Dwarka. Yet, there was a constant threat of Jarasandh's people picking up old feuds and attacking Dwarka too. The administrators of Dwarka feared that the forces of Jarasandh may infiltrate into Dwarka and attack Dwarka. To differentiate between their own and the enemy, a unique seal or mudra was introduced. This three-headed mudra was a form of identification to establish that the bearers of the seal were the citizens of Dwarka and had come to Dwarka with Krishna himself. Thousands of years later, when Dwarka was rediscovered, the marine excavations revealed a unique seal. Made of clay measuring 18 mm by 20 mm, it was distinctive with a three-headed animal with heads of a bull, a unicorn, and a goat engraved on it. This find establishes the submerged Dwarka's connection with the Dwarka of Mahabharat. This seal from Dwarka is similar to other Indus Valley seals in art, shape, dimension, and method of making. The motif of this seal helps us to date the period of Dwarka, estimated to be around 3000 BCE. This seal is found only in the region of Dwarka, where the text says it was indeed distributed amongst the citizens. This ancient city was truly ahead of its times, the home of knowledge, wisdom, and fine craftsmanship for thousands of years. This is Amazing India.